The smell of roast chicken filled Victoria's kitchen as I sat at the worn wooden table, watching my daughter-in-law bustle around like she owned the place. Which, according to her, she practically did. "Mom, can you move your stuff off the counter?" Victoria called over, not bothering to look at me. "I need space for the good dishes." I glanced at my small pile, reading glasses, pill organizer, and my wedding ring, which I'd removed to help with dishes. 4 to 7 years I'd worn that ring through everything David and I faced together. "Of course, dear," I said, reaching for my things. Victoria swooped in before I could touch them. Her manicured fingers picked up my ring like it might contaminate her. "God, what is this thing? It's so dingy." My son Marcus looked up from his phone. "It's Mom's wedding ring, Vic. This old thing." Victoria turned it over in her palm. "Honey, your dad really couldn't afford anything better? I mean, times were different, but wow." I felt heat rise in my cheeks but kept my voice steady. "Your father-in-law was a good man who worked hard." "I'm sure he was," Victoria said with that patronizing tone she'd perfected. "But honestly, you should upgrade. This looks like something from a gumball machine." She held up her own ring, a 2-carat diamond that caught the light. Marcus had spent 8 months' salary on that ring, money he'd borrowed from his father's life insurance without telling me. "See this? This is what real jewelry looks like," Victoria continued. "Marcus knows how to treat a woman properly." Marcus beamed at her praise, and I watched my son puff up with pride at his wife's materialism. "Maybe we should take Mom shopping," Marcus said. "Get her something nice." "With what money?" Victoria laughed. "We're not exactly swimming in cash. Besides, she probably wouldn't appreciate quality jewelry. Some people just don't have the eye for it." I bit my tongue. If only they knew about the property management company I'd been running since David's death, the one that owned 12 rental properties across the city. But David and I had agreed to live modestly, never flashing our wealth. "You're right," I said quietly. "I should probably just put this away." Victoria's eyes lit up. "Actually, you know what? You should just throw it away. It's honestly depressing to look at." "Victoria," Marcus said, but there was no real reproach. "No, I'm serious," she continued. "Mom, you're starting a new chapter. Dad's been gone 2 years. You don't need to cling to old, worthless things." She walked to the trash can and held it open. "Come on. Be brave. Let it go." The kitchen fell silent. Marcus looked uncomfortable but didn't say anything. Victoria stood there holding the trash can open like she was doing me a favor. "You know what?" I said, standing slowly. "You're absolutely right." I took the ring from her palm and looked at it one more time. The gold had worn thin from 4 to 7 years of wear. The small diamond was cloudy with age. "This cheap junk belongs there," I said, echoing her words as I dropped it in. Victoria clapped like I was a child. "See? Doesn't that feel freeing? Now you can focus on the future." Marcus gave me an awkward hug. "I'm proud of you, Mom." That took courage. After dinner, while Victoria showed off vacation photos from Cabo, a vacation I'd unknowingly funded through Marcus's emergency loans, I quietly retrieved my ring from the trash. I washed it gently and slipped it into my pocket. Victoria had been right about one thing. It was time to focus on the future. The next morning, I drove downtown to Goldstein and Associates, the same jewelry store where David had bought my ring in 1976. "Mrs. Patterson." Benjamin Goldstein Jr. looked up with a smile. "How can I help you?" I placed my ring on the black velvet mat. "I need a current appraisal, Benjamin." He picked up the ring with practiced care, examining it under his magnifying glass. His eyebrows rose. "Mrs. Patterson, are you aware this is a natural fancy yellow diamond?" "Of course," I said. "Your father explained it to David. Said it was rare." Benjamin nodded slowly. "Very rare. Especially one this clean and well cut. The setting is museum quality, hand-forged platinum from the 1940s. With current market values, I'd estimate this at around $180,000. I smiled. "That's what I thought. Could you put that in writing?" 3 days later, I sat in Victoria's living room waiting for the family meeting I'd called. "Mom, you're scaring me," Marcus said as he sat next to Victoria. "You never call family meetings." Are you sick? Is this about the ring thing? Victoria asked, not looking up from her phone. I hope you're not going to be dramatic. I was helping you move on. Your grandmother's ring was very special, I said carefully. Victoria rolled her eyes. History doesn't pay bills. Sometimes you have to be practical. You're absolutely right, I said, pulling out the official appraisal document. I set it on the coffee table. Marcus leaned forward and read aloud. Vintage natural fancy yellow diamond ring, estimated current market value, $180,000. His voice cracked. The room went silent. Victoria snatched the paper, scanning frantically. This is a mistake. This has to be a mistake. Oh, it's not, I said calmly. Goldstein and Associates has been appraising jewelry for 60 years. But it looked so old and cheap, Victoria stammered. That's the beauty of natural fancy yellow diamonds, I explained. They don't sparkle like white diamonds. They are much more subtle. Much more rare. Marcus stared at the appraisal. Mom, why didn't you tell us? Your father and I never felt the need to discuss money. Victoria was shaking. Where is the ring now? Well, you threw it in the trash, I said. You said it was cheap junk that belonged there. But you took it out, right? Victoria's voice was getting higher. You have it, right? I tilted my head thoughtfully. You were very clear that it was worthless and I should let go of the past. Mom, Marcus said urgently, please tell me you still have it. Victoria dropped to her knees beside my chair. Actually dropped to her knees. Please, Mom Patterson. Please tell me you still have it. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I looked down at this woman who had spent 3 years treating me like a burden, who had made me feel worthless in my own son's home. You were wrong about quite a few things, I said quietly. I stood and walked to the window. Victoria, what do you think I do with my time all day? What do you mean? You often comment on how I don't contribute to society. How I'm just a burden. So what do you think my daily life looks like? Victoria wiped her eyes. You read. Watch TV. Go to the grocery store. I pulled out my phone and showed them my company website. Patterson Property Management. I've been running it since your father-in-law died. 12 residential properties, 3 commercial buildings. Gross annual revenue of about $2.3 million. Marcus stood so fast he knocked over his coffee. $2.3 million. After expenses and taxes, I net around $400,000 annually. Victoria made a choking sound. Some of my properties are quite close. That apartment complex on Maple Street? Mine. The strip mall where you get your nails done? Also. Mine. I sat back down. In fact, the mortgage company that holds your loan? They sold it to my investment portfolio. So when you threw my ring away, you were actually in my house. Marcus found his voice. Mom, why didn't you tell us? Because your father and I believed in teaching children the value of work, not relying on family money. But all those loans I asked for, Marcus said, face crumpling. $47,000 in 2 years, I said, pulling out financial records. Car repairs that were Cabo vacations. Medical bills that were shopping sprees. Victoria was crying. How did you know? I've been managing properties for 15 years. I know what things cost. And I use private investigators to screen tenants. I walked to the door. Here's what's happening. Victoria, you'll write a formal apology and enter shopping addiction therapy. Marcus, no more lying about money. Ask honestly if you need help. And both of you will treat me with basic human decency, regardless of financial status. I paused. Oh, and Victoria? My ring is in a safety deposit box, going into trust for Tyler when he turns 18, along with his college fund. As I drove home, I could hear Victoria sobbing through the window. I sat in David's old chair, slipping my wedding ring back where it belonged. Tomorrow I'd meet with my lawyer about Tyler's trust. But tonight, I simply watched the sunset, grateful for a husband who taught me that true wealth isn't what you can buy, it's who you choose to be. The ring caught the last sunlight, its subtle yellow glow warm against my hands. Some things are worth more than they appear. You just have to know how to look.